Hi, it's Mitz from MyLifeMits. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this episode, I wanted to do a video showing you, or I guess a continuation of my travel junk journal. I have this junk journal in my traveler's notebook, and I started it this summer 2017, and I haven't touched it in months, and I decided to get back into it. I don't want you to feel discouraged if you've started a project and then you haven't touched it in months or years. It's never too late to go back. You can see here I haven't touched it in months, so I've decided to take a break from it, and then I played with other things, other junk journals, other notebooks and things like that, and then I'm now back into this travel junk journal. I think it's okay to step back once in a while if you're kind of stuck in a rut. There's no need to force anything. I like things being organic, and when I feel like I want to journal, then that's when I do it. So now I'm here many months later doing, I guess, playing catch up in my travel journal, my traveler's notebook junk journal, and that's totally okay. So back to the video, I was able to visit Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, and I just picked up some memorabilia and things. Oops, my alarm went off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is some packaging from lunch, and I'm not too sure why it's Snoopy. We went to eat lunch at a Chinese restaurant, and the packaging was some Snoopy packaging. I kept the chopsticks cover, and it said Universal Studios Japan, so I decided to do that to keep it in there. And you see the photos here. These photos I actually printed out during my trip. I don't have a a pocket printer, so I was able to download an app for 7-Eleven, which is a famous convenience store here, and once I downloaded the photo app, I was able to print out the photos on their copy machine, so it was nice and convenient. Maybe that's an option for you if you're traveling somewhere and you know that like if you don't have a pocket printer, maybe that's an option. You can print out your photos at the convenience store, and I found that to be very helpful. I didn't have to worry about printing the photos when I got home. Sometimes even when I had downtime, I was able to journal because I had the photos printed out there. So now I am flipping through the brochures. I took too many brochures. I don't know if you noticed, I kind of ripped out certain parts of the brochures that I wanted to include. I love the Hogwarts castle part there. And yeah, I'm just flipping through to see if I can use anything in the travel journal. Originally, my idea was to rip out certain parts of the pamphlet and then sew. I saw this really neat thing on Pinterest where the person sewed like I don't know how to explain it, like a half circle or a semicircle of the torn pamphlet bits. I don't know how to explain it, but I really wanted to try that out, and it just wasn't working, and I think that's what made me stand still. That's what made me lose interest in my travel journal. I felt like I couldn't mimic, or I couldn't reproduce the same Pinterest image, and then I just kind of got discouraged, and then so I think that's why I stopped or lost interest in the travel journal. And that's okay. It's okay to step back and then come back to it many months down the road, or many years actually. I have this doily, half doily, that I think I got from some Happy Meal that I want to incorporate somewhere, and you'll see later on how I actually use it. So you'll see the summer entertainment there, and then like the shark on the left hand side. Those are the bits that I ripped out from the pamphlets. I really wanted to try out this sewing thing, but it really didn't work. Now I have the pamphlet that I want to stick into the pocket, but it is too big, so I just kind of trimmed it down, but it's still a little too wide, so I think I end up adding a paper clip later on and just clipping it to the envelope. And now, once again, looking through the pamphlets to see if there's anything I can include. Maybe I'll just briefly talk about the Universal Studios in Osaka. I've never been to Universal Studios in my life. This is my first time. I had a really, really good time. However, it was extremely humid and hot. I don't know, I've never experienced summer in Osaka before, but it was so unbearable. I mean, summer in Japan, it's really humid and hot for me. I'm from Canada, so for me it's already really hot and humid to begin with, but the summer in Osaka was just crazy. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go on many rides. The kids were a little too young for some parts of the park, which is okay. We just wanted to be there and just take in the atmosphere. It was really nice to be experience it, Universal Studios for the first time. I think my husband's been there once for his middle school or elementary school trip. I don't really remember which one, but he got to go there. So yeah, it was lots of fun. I recommend you going if you have a chance to go. It's really interesting to see the different parks in a different language, I guess. I really, really enjoyed the Harry Potter part of it, and maybe I'll talk about it a little bit later on. So I attached the pamphlet, the ripped out pamphlet, I attached it in the middle there with some washi tape, and now I'm just flipping through my traveler's notebook. This one is actually a Lady Falcon traveler's notebook in pink. I think this size is the field notes with the extra large, a bit attached to it. But anyways, I have my scrap pieces of paper in there, and I just took some because I like using scrap paper to add layer to my spreads. I find that I never fully use, well, I use post-it notes, but I never fully end up using like note paper pads. I don't know if you're the same way. So that's why I like to use paper or scrap pieces of paper in my journaling spreads. Here I am just attaching the pamphlet. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm just attaching it to the pocket because I couldn't fit it in the envelope. And I'm just kind of flipping through to see what else I can do. And I think I'm going to move on to the Harry Potter section. I really enjoyed the Harry Potter section of the Universal Studios park. We ended up going a little bit later on in the afternoon when the heat was kind of cooled down. We decided to grab an early dinner, and I think we made a right choice with that because it wasn't really crowded then, and we had a nice view of the castle, and the dinner was really, really nice. But yeah, I really enjoyed this Harry Potter section of the park. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but for some reason, I really enjoyed it. Like the detailing of the buildings and the shops, they were exactly the way they were shown in the movies, and it was so interesting to see. I wish my son was a little bit older. He's not really familiar with Harry Potter. I think if he's a little bit older, he would have enjoyed it. He would most likely would have wanted a wand, I guess. And they had like really neat sections in the park where you could use your wand and do magic, I suppose. And they had these little areas where you could use the magic wands. It was so neat. I think I want to go back again when my kids are a little bit older, but this Harry Potter section was really, really nice. Now that I look back, I wish I printed the photos a little bit larger. I think I did 6 little photos onto one page. One page was about 30 cents or 30 yen. And yeah, I wish I printed the photos a little bit larger, maybe 4 to a page or 2 to a page. But anyways, I stuck some photos there, and now I am flipping through to see where I want to add the remaining photos. I ripped out this shark. I think it's part of Jaws. So I ripped it out of the pamphlet because I wanted to keep it in my travel journal. I remember my son looking at this huge shark and he was a little bit scared, but it was fake. But yeah, I don't remember what else I do here. Oh, right. So I stick in I think this is the Hogwarts map. I stick in the Hogwarts map. I decided to use different type of washi tape. I think because I used this washi tape a little bit earlier on in the journal as well, so I wanted to keep it consistent. So I like to do that a lot. I like to tip in things a lot, add in little brochures and memorabilia into my travel journal. I'm just letting you know how I cut the little slits where I washi taped over that journaling card so that I can easily flip it open. I hope I'm making sense. And yeah, just trying to figure out the layout. I still have several photos left. I think those 6 left, and I don't know how I'm going to stick it onto the page, and then so I try and figure out before I glue it down. I don't know if you're the same way as well, but anyways, so you'll see me fidgeting around with the photos and the layouts. I cut the photos and then I decide that I want to add something on the back of it. So because I wanted to journal, I want to journal, so I want to add like a lighter piece of paper. So I decided to take the craft paper that I have here, the scrap craft paper, so that I can add a bit of contrast and makes it easier to see when I write. I just glue that down. I don't know where my tape runner went. Well, I know where it is. It's actually on my dining room table, so I had to use glue stick throughout the journaling process. But yeah, here I'm just figuring out where I want to put the photos. And like I said, I wish I, printed them out a little bit bigger. Maybe I will do that a little bit later on in the future if I want to make this into like a scrapbooking spread. But yeah, I don't know if you can see there our beautiful view of the Hogwarts castle. During our dinner, I remember I had fish and chips. My son and my husband had the chicken and ribs. It was really, really delicious. And finally, I'm able to use this doily I've been trying to stick somewhere and it just never worked out. But here, I finally decided to use it as some layering, and it worked out in the end. I'm glad I was able to use this really, really, really pretty doily. Just kind of fold it over so that I can attach it to the back part there where I can journal. And I think that's about it. Oh no, it's not. I decided to use the same washi tape again to stick the photos down. And here is my spread, page spreads, I suppose. I can still stick things into the pocket. And oh right, I remember I wanted to use or make the washi tab. I just stuck down a strip of washi and then fold it onto itself, and then just cut out a little flag there so that I remind myself that I can flip it downwards. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking by. I really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.